What if I told you that everything you ever wanted, every dream, every goal, every version of your best self is hiding in one place you've been trained to avoid, just beyond your comfort zone? Good morning, everyone. We often hear the phrase, step out of your comfort zone, but how many of us truly do it? Comfort feels safe, familiar, and easy. But let me tell you something important. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in challenge, in uncertainty, and in the unknown. Think about every major achievement in your life. Was it easy? Or did it require courage, risk, and maybe even failure? Whether it's starting a new job, moving to a new city, speaking in public, or chasing a dream, the biggest transformations happen when we push past fear and embrace discomfort. When we leave the comfort zone, we meet our true selves. We discover what we're capable of. We realize that fear is just a signal, not a stop sign. It tells us we're on the edge of something great. So, the next time you're afraid to take a leap, remember this. Everything you want is just beyond that comfort line. Growth lives there. Change lives there. Your future lives there. Thank you. Comfort zones are safe, but limit personal and professional growth. Real transformation begins when we face discomfort and challenge. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a sign of opportunity and potential. Pushing boundaries leads to self-discovery, strength, and success. Comfort zones are like invisible walls that keep us in a space where things feel safe, predictable, and manageable. It's a space we retreat to because it gives us a sense of control and security. We follow routines, stick to familiar environments, and interact with people we know. While there's nothing inherently wrong with feeling comfortable, the danger lies in staying there too long. When we confine ourselves to what is easy and known, we inadvertently limit our ability to grow, learn, and experience new possibilities. The comfort zone can feel like a warm blanket on a cold day, but if we never step out from under it, we may never realize what lies beyond the warmth. Growth, by its very nature, is uncomfortable. It requires change, effort, and the willingness to take risks. When we stay in our comfort zones, we avoid challenges that could help us learn new skills, develop resilience, and expand our perspectives. For example, someone who is afraid of public speaking may avoid any situation that puts them in front of a crowd. But in doing so, they also miss out on opportunities to build confidence, communicate effectively, and share their ideas. The same applies to many areas of life, whether it's applying for a new job, starting a business, or having a difficult conversation. The growth we seek often lives just beyond what is easy and familiar. The irony is that while comfort zones feel safe, they can eventually become restrictive. Over time, what once felt secure may start to feel stagnant. We may begin to feel unfulfilled, uninspired, or even trapped. It's in these moments that we start to understand that comfort without challenge leads to complacency. By choosing to stay in the comfort zone, we may protect ourselves from failure, but we also deny ourselves the chance to succeed in new and meaningful ways. Growth isn't a guarantee when we step outside our comfort zone. but possibility is. We give ourselves the chance to stretch, adapt, and evolve. The more we embrace the discomfort of new experiences, the more we begin to redefine what our comfort zone even is. With each step beyond its borders, we make it bigger. What once felt scary becomes familiar, and what once felt impossible becomes part of who we are. Who we are. Real transformation doesn't happen when life is easy. It happens in those uncomfortable, uncertain moments when we are forced to dig deep and find strength we didn't know we had. It's in the struggle, the confusion, and the doubt that we begin to uncover our true potential. When we face challenges that push us beyond what we think we can handle, we are given a chance to grow. These moments might not feel pleasant at the time, but they are often the most defining ones in our lives. They shape our character, build our resilience, and show us what we are capable of achieving when we refuse to back down. Discomfort acts like a mirror. It reflects parts of us we may have never noticed before. When things are easy, we tend to go through the motions. We don't question our habits, our fears, or our limitations. But when we are faced with new, unfamiliar experiences, we're forced to look at ourselves more closely. We start asking, can I handle this? Or what am I really made of? And in answering those questions, we find growth. When we find growth, the discomfort forces us to adapt, to learn quickly, and to rise to the occasion. Whether it's learning a new skill, navigating a major life change, or taking on a leadership role, the transformation begins the moment we step into the unknown. It's important to realize that this process is not always linear. Growth through discomfort can be messy, unpredictable, and filled with setbacks. But every step, even the ones that feel like failures, contributes to our evolution. We learn more from the challenges we overcome than from the ones we avoid. Each time we face something difficult and push through it, we gain confidence, wisdom, and emotional strength. We start to see ourselves differently, not just as someone surviving tough moments, but as someone who is capable of thriving through them. The process of transformation requires patience and courage. It asks us to let go of the need for control and certainty, and instead trust that growth is happening, even if we can't see it right away. It reminds us that we are always a work in progress, and that the discomfort we feel today may very well be the turning point that shapes who we become tomorrow. Fear is a natural part of stepping into the unknown. It shows up whenever we're about to do something unfamiliar, something that matters deeply to us, or something that could lead to failure or rejection. But the presence of fear doesn't mean we should stop. It means we're on the edge of something that has the power to change us. Fear, contrary to what many believe, isn't always a warning to turn back. More often, it's a signal that we're about to grow. It shows us where we need to go next, and it highlights the places where we still need to develop courage, clarity, and belief in ourselves. When we view fear as a stop sign, we rob ourselves of the chance to grow. We freeze, procrastinate, or retreat to what feels safe, even if it means settling for less than we are capable of achieving. But if we begin to see fear as a signpost, pointing us toward the exact thing we should confront, we start to take control of our own development. Fear doesn't disappear when we ignore it. It only grows stronger. But when we face it head on, we begin to realize it isn't as powerful as we once thought. Most of the time, the worst case scenarios we imagine never happen. Never happen. And even when things don't go perfectly, we find out we're much more resilient than we gave ourselves credit for. Fear also has a way of showing us what truly matters. We don't feel fear over things we don't care about. Ooh. If we're afraid to fail at something, it's often because success in that area would be deeply meaningful to us. This makes fear a powerful guide. It shows us where our values lie, where our dreams live, and where we still have room to stretch. Once we realize that fear and desire are often tied together, we can begin to use that awareness as motivation rather than a barrier. The truth is, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the choice to move forward in spite of it. Every time we take action in the face of fear, we weaken its hold over us. We grow stronger, more confident, and more capable of handling whatever comes next. What once terrified us eventually becomes manageable, even routine, because we took the risk to move through the fear rather than be ruled by it. Pushing boundaries is not just about taking bold steps. It's about gradually expanding our limits and discovering new layers of ourselves in the process. When we take that first step beyond what feels familiar, we may feel overwhelmed, uncertain, or even doubtful. But that moment is often where the real journey begins. It's in those small, uncomfortable steps forward that we begin to uncover strengths we never knew we had. Each time we try something new, each time we challenge ourselves, we are quietly but steadily rewriting the narrative of what we're capable of. As we step into unknown territory, we start to see that growth isn't just about achieving goals or gaining success. It's about evolving internally, developing greater resilience, deeper understanding, and stronger self-belief. What once seemed intimidating starts to feel doable, and what once felt far out of reach begins to come closer. This process of pushing boundaries teaches us to be more adaptable, more curious, and more willing to explore life with an open mind. We begin to trust ourselves more. Because we've seen ourselves handle discomfort and uncertainty without giving up. With every boundary we push, we gather experience. And with that experience comes a new sense of power. Not the loud, external kind of power, but an internal, quiet confidence. It's the knowledge that even if we fail, we'll learn something. Even if we fall, we'll get back up. This mindset doesn't develop overnight. It comes from repeatedly putting ourselves in positions where we don't have all the answers, but are willing to figure things out anyway. Growth requires action. And action requires courage, especially when the outcome isn't guaranteed. The more we challenge our own limits, the more they begin to stretch. Eventually, the things that once terrified us become part of our everyday lives. We look back and realize that what once felt like a huge leap is now simply a step. Simply a step. And in that realization, we find a sense of pride. not just in what we've achieved, but in who we've become. That transformation, that personal evolution only becomes possible when we make the decision to push beyond comfort, to stretch beyond comfort, to stretch beyond fear, and that you choose growth even when it's hard. So the next time fear whispers that it's safer to stay where you are, remember this: comfort may feel good, but growth feels better. The life you want, the person you're meant to become, it's all waiting for you, just beyond the comfort zone. Step out, step up, and discover what you're truly capable of.